Okay, I will start. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I'm new to this and I am nervous, so bear with me and it'll be short and sweet. I don't talk as much as everybody else does, but hopefully you get something from it. I wanted to to go into what I wanted to say. I wanted to start off with belief because I heard something I listened to today. It was a really good training. And she said, you have to have belief. And I feel like you have to have belief in yourself, the products, and the network before you can help anyone else duplicate. So I wanted to just make sure you guys, have the belief in yourself. And it's something that you have to do daily. And I really liked what she did. She made herself a belief meter, input from 0 to 10, and asked herself daily where her belief meter was. And then if just to constantly think of what fills your belief and what empties your belief. Obviously, it's when you get that message that someone's quitting that drains your belief. But then immediately she says she will go and respond and message a friend that's having really good success to build her belief back up, or she'll listen to a podcast because we know the products work. We also know the income is there as well. So we know it. So we have to believe it and portray it to our friends in order for them to have belief in themselves. It comes from us first. Because they don't know what they're doing. They're just starting. If you remember back at your journey, you didn't remember either when you first started. And so we've got to build their belief that they can do it as well. And so one little thing is that hope gets you started, but belief keeps you there. So I liked that. I wrote that down. So anyway, this ties into duplication. My motto, I love everybody starting with at least 1 to 3 people. Once they find their first one, that's really exciting. But once they get their 3, that's even more exciting because they get those bonuses. And I feel like the earlier you can get this to happen, the better off you be, because then they notice that they can earn a little bit of income that'll help pay for their products. They'll start to hang in there to actually see the benefits from taking the products. It just it's a win-win for everybody. And you can get farther with duplicating because you can't do it on your own. You can only get so far with doing it on your own. You can, sure, it may be easy to add 10 people or even get to gold. But you're honestly really not going to get much farther than that on your own. Plus that's a lot of work just to do on your own. That's a lot of people that you have to reach out to and, get started and keep them started in order to keep you there. But if I drew a little diagram for myself and then I was like, well, I could share that, but it looks like chicken scratch. So I don't even know if you can see, probably can't even see it, but this was just real quick. But like here is if you duplicate and say I added like 4 or 5 up there, I think 5, and each person has like 3. So like your whole team just kind of like expands out and you can go down. If not, you have this one little teeny tiny row of like 10 people, and that's as far as it goes. You just adding them all yourself. So you're not going down, you're not growing, and you can just reach more people that way. So I think hopefully that makes sense to everybody. It's quick. I think, everyone starts with 3. Yeah, I think that's all that I have. And then Emily is going to go into more detail of duplicating, I think.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jodi.
Okay. You're welcome. Hopefully that was good.
Okay. So I know some of you have seen the Christina Williams video floating around, but it's solid gold. And that's what a lot of what I'm going to be hitting on is coming from. So I'm going to share some of the stuff like directly from her because it's just amazing. And, why she's obviously doing something right. So I want to duplicate something that is working. But she asked a really good question, and it's, are you recruiting but not creating others that want to share? And I feel like with a lot of, and I'm talking to myself too, A lot of us, if we were given the challenge to, sometime this week, go share the products with somebody and sign a new VIP customer, like just a product user, most of us could probably accomplish that. But given the challenge, do you feel as confident sharing the business with somebody? Can you go create a brand new business builder this week? Most of us probably wouldn't feel as confident doing that. And that's totally okay, because I'm going to guess like 99% of us didn't start this for the business anyways. We got into the business because people kept coming back to us about the business. When you're on the phone with somebody signing them up, and you might mention sharing, but it's very rare that they're going to be like, yep, I'm all in, I'm going to Diamond, we're doing it, like, balls to the walls, let's go. Like that, it happens, but it's not super common. So the question that she asks everybody when they're on the phone is, and I don't want to mess up the question, if you love these products, will you share with others? Not, do you want a business? Not, are you open to posting? And this is what's great about the comp plan change, is that we don't have to rush it anymore. We're not on the clock right from the get-go. Like, yes, obviously we want them sharing from the very beginning, but if they're super hesitant to, even post that shout out post in the beginning, we get to be okay with that and not feel slimy and like we're pushing them to do something that they're not quite ready to do. So if you love these products, will you share with others? Like, how simple is that? If you're seeing great results, if you get, we have their goals from the beginning when we're having these conversations with them. We know what their goals are, so we can pop that in there. If their goal is, to lose a little weight. Hey, when you've lost that first 5 pounds, who are you going to share that with?
And she got
or, they are struggling with their hormones or with their sleep or with their anxiety. Who else do you know that struggles with those same issues that you can help along with you? Or I'm sure you can think of some friends that have issues completely different than what you have. And it's a wonderful thing that you probably will never experience those same issues, but how great would it be if you could help them with that? So, and I mentioned getting on the phone with them. We all know we should be on the phone with them. If you're not, shame on you, fix it and get on the phone. Like, there is so much more power in being on the phone with them and making that personal connection. And it should just be part of the conversation that you have with them. You've went over their pack, you've selected it. Okay, great, you're ready to get started. The next step is for us to get on the phone. Not, would you care to hop on the phone with me? It's not an option. The next step is for us to get on the phone. When do you have 15 minutes? Very, very rarely is somebody who's going to say, come back to sit, like when you phrase it like that, they're not going to say, nope, just send me your link, because you didn't give them an option. You didn't make it a question. That's the next part of the process, is to get them on the phone. Once you're on the phone with them, you are not on the phone with them to convince them to run a business. That is not your goal when you're on the phone with them. Your goal is to connect with them as a person, because you want to build that trust. You want them to have trust in you, because if they don't trust you, they're not going to stick around. The products might work for them a little bit, but if they don't trust you and they don't have that relationship with you, like, even if they have a little bit of success, like, they're probably not going to stick around. But your goal on this call is not to convince them to run a business. It's to build that connection and figure out what their objections are. So when you say, if you love your products, are you going to be sharing with others? They're going to come back with a couple different things. Some of them may say, yeah, absolutely. Of course, I'll share with people if it's working for me. That's probably what most people are going to say when you phrase it like that, because you're not saying, when you have results, are you going to join me and make 5 ranks and go on all these trips and do all this crazy stuff? You're just asking if they're going to share their success. So most people are going to say, yeah, I'll probably share with some people when I see some results. Some people are going to say, no, I'm not a salesperson. I've tried that before. I told somebody the other day, I couldn't sell a gun to Bin Laden, honey, but I share what works for me. And I don't want you to be pushy and salesy because that's gross. We just meet those objections, handle those objections, and always end with a question. Or they're going to say they're too busy. Well, we all are. I liked Jenny's response that she shared in the chat the other day, that we all just carry it in different bags. I won't use her exact verbiage, but she did share, Christina Williams did share her flow chart, which makes this super simple. And I will get this uploaded into Hope Dealers. Where'd my mouse go? Oh, I'm frozen.
Wait, you are frozen.
I don't know what happened. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're fine. We just see your frozen face, but we can hear your voice totally fine.
My whole computer is frozen. Like I don't have a mouse right now.
Okay.
Oh, there it goes. There it goes. We're back. Can you see me? So she shared her flow chart that she shares with her team, and it basically goes over everything that I just went over. So I will share that, but I'm not going to read over the whole flow chart. She does give some scripts for handling those objections, which are really good. I don't need to read those word for word because y'all can read them later. But next step, when someone is open to sharing, when they say, yeah, I'll probably share after I see some results, or they show a little bit of openness, that's when you're going to ask them to make the Facebook post. You're going to ask them to do a shout out for you. You're going to tell them from the very beginning that if someone comments, you're going to reach out to them privately. They're not going to comment under, what are you doing with Plexus? You're going to tell them that from the very beginning, that you're going to, message them privately, that you are going to be there every step of the way. As soon as they, respond in that message, they can either add you in, or you can give them word for word what to say back. Help them create their list of people that they think could benefit from the products. And think to yourself, are you wanting to share the products, the opportunity, or both? So when they're open to sharing, that's when you can ask the question, do you just want to help a few friends, help get your products paid for, or would you like to learn more about this opportunity? Would an extra $500,000, and on up, what would benefit your family? If they are not open at all, they've shut you down, you've handled their objections, they have zero interest, that's okay. That's when you're going to not drop the ball, because you're going to still follow up. You're following up with them about their products anyways. And anytime they have the smallest little win, you are going to cheer the heck out of it. And you're going to revisit that. And you're going to say, I am so stinking excited that you slept a solid 8 hours last night. Or, I am so stinking excited that you didn't need a nap today. I know that there are some other people who are struggling and praying for that same relief that you have found. I know you weren't super interested in sharing before, but now that you've had this great success, what would you think about sharing this with a couple people? They may still say no, and that's okay. Then you're going to wait until the next win, and you're going to do it again. A couple other ways that you can follow up with them: invite them to an event. Even those people who are already signed up, they're solid product users, they're having success and loving their products. If they've been on your team for a year and they haven't been to an opportunity event, invite them to one. Send them a Diamond Doc of somebody that they could relate to. So they are a school teacher and they're super stressed and they don't want to do it anymore because it's COVID and they've got their kids in different schools and they have a special needs child and they just want to be able to stay home and keep their baby safe. Like, send them a Diamond Doc of somebody who has special needs kids, or send them a Diamond Doc of a retired teacher. You know, find somebody that they can relate to and send it to them and say, hey, no pressure at all, but I watched this morning and you popped directly to my mind because this person reminds me so much of you. Just take 5 minutes and watch it. Diamond Docs are so short, but they are so stinking powerful. And really just continue to build that relationship. Don't be so products focused that you forget who they are as a person. We get stuck in the follow-up language of we have to ask these questions. We have to know how many times they're pooping. We have to know, you know, all these things about their product use that we forget to say sometimes. Hey, I saw that, you know, your daughter was sick. Is she feeling better? Or I saw that your mom fell and broke her hip. Oh my goodness, can I send a casserole? Like, don't forget about them as people, because most of the people that you have, at least at this point, were your friends first. And if they're not your friends, then they're going to become your friends through this process because you want friends. You don't just want a number in your back office. You want them as people. Always sharing rank ups, trips, prizes you win. That doesn't mean that anytime you rank up, you're going to be in their inbox. Hey, did you see that I ranked up? But when you share somebody else's rank up, like on your feed, in your story, something like that, like you're in Messenger with them enough that they're seeing your stuff on their feed because you're talking to them regularly. You don't have to tag them in it every single time. If it's somebody that you think they would really relate to, you know, that's okay to send that to them and say, hey, this person on my team, she reminds me so much of you in this way, whatever. She just earned an extra $500 and just in bonuses that she's been able to help pay for travel soccer for her kids. I know your kids are into soccer and I know how expensive that can be. Would you be open to hearing more about how she did this? I think that's missing anything. Don't fall into convincing mode. If you have to convince them to do the business, they're not going to stick around and you're going to feel icky. They're not going to do what they need to do if you have had to convince them every step of the way. That doesn't mean that you don't, like, you know, give them a little nudge, but if you have to like really pry and beg them to make a post, like, it's not worth it. Don't be too emotionally attached. And this is a hard one, guys. This one's really hard to not take it personally when, you know, maybe they did share for a little bit and have some success, and then they just decided it wasn't for them. Because what we do isn't for everybody, and we have to be okay with that. And they're not saying that you're not good at what you're doing. They're not saying that you did something wrong. They're just saying that they're at a time in their life where this isn't a good fit for them. And sometimes you can talk to them and work through those objections and figure out, you know, a better time for them to work or a better schedule for them. But sometimes it's just not right for people. And we have to not take that personally and brush it off and move on and find more people, because there are so many people that we can help. There are so many people that are staying awake at night because of their finances. And we have a solution for them, but we can't be scared to share it with them. Like, when we don't share something that could provide financial freedom for other people, or the ability to, you know, say yes to their kids more, or get them out of student loan debt, like, really that's us being selfish because we're just too scared to say, hey, we don't want to look, tacky, and we don't want to look like we're, have a big head because we made X amount of dollars. Like, I'm not blasting my paycheck all over Facebook, but it's okay for other people to see me say that I'm a 6-figure earner, because those are people that know me and they know my heart, and they know, that I don't have, they see that I'm a real person, that I'm relatable. It's not relatable when they go on Instagram and see, all these influencers saying, promoting all these products and whatever, because they have 50,000 followers. And they're like, well, I've got 300. Well, I've got like 500. So, you're not that different from me. Yes, exactly. There's always going to be haters. They don't pay your bills, and they probably want what we have, but they're just too scared to go for it. So that is the bulk of what I have, but I wanted to open it up for a few minutes if anybody has questions, specific objections that you've dealt with, anything like that. We would be happy to help you work through those.
I have a question, Emily, because I feel like a lot of my girls maybe are experiencing this, and I know I have in the past too, but what's your approach when someone gives you a shout out and they get crazy good interaction and they're just like, I'm not messaging those people? Like, how do you overcome that?
I mean, if they say they're not, like, that's where I think it's important when you ask for the shout out for you to preface it with, when these people commented on it, this is the message that you're going to send to them.
Mm-hmm.
So that if they're not going to do it, they can say that from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then
you really don't have anyone that does that, because you always bring it up. Like, I've always, I feel like getting the shout out is great because it's just like they're excited. But like, if we start talking about messaging them, like following, like the follow-up, if we did it all at once, I feel like people shy away from actually posting, because then they're freaked out about what to do, or that they feel like they're going to have to do all this stuff. But I think now
it's just
more
framing
of
it in a way that's not threatening. Like, you're asking for the shout out. Most of us probably say, hey, would you care to put this shout out post up? Basically just thanking me for getting you started.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to say, yeah, sure. And then you're going to say, okay, awesome. Some of your friends might comment on it and ask what it is that you're doing. If they do, just pop them in a three-way with me and I'll take over and answer all their questions.
Perfect.
Like, so
like
you're not giving them a script and you're not making it scary,
mm-hmm.
but you're letting them know from the very beginning that you're going to handle it, so that they don't have to be scared to start that message.
Yeah, perfect. I feel like my girls that are on here, they can probably attest. Like, I feel like that's exactly what we do, but we're kind of hitting these roadblocks, like where nothing's coming out of these great shout outs, that we're like, where's the disconnect? And the last few people that I personally have had were like, I don't have time to message those people. Like, you can message them. And I try to say, like, I don't want to be the weird, crazy girl that like goes to the cloud. Like, I just want you to simply send this and then I'll take it from there. And like, they don't do it. So I just wanted to voice that, because I think there might be some girls on here that are like, I'm getting shout outs, I'm just not doing any, like, nothing's coming out of them. And yes,
yeah. I mean, if they say post, like flat out say after they get a response that they're like, no, I'm not messaging them, then I would probably, instead of messaging them immediately, I would just go reply like, hey, shoot me a DM for more info, so that that person can message you. Mm-hmm. Or just say, hey, I sent you a message. Because a lot of times these people are people that we're not friends with, so they're not seeing that we sent them a message anyway.
You go to some weird, awkward cloud,
spam weird box, so they're not getting that notification. So I would probably just go back to the post and reply to it like, hey, shoot me a message, or hey, is it okay if I message you?
Perfect.
So I have a similar question regarding someone who makes a shout out post and gets nothing. Where do you go from there?
I mean, I think that's part of, like, we also have to set that clear expectation in the beginning. Like, some of your friends may comment and, be super excited and want to know what you're doing. Especially if there's somebody who doesn't post on Facebook like ever. Right.
Right.
They may post and nobody sees it because they don't do anything on Facebook other than creep on people. They don't, like comment or like on anybody else's stuff. So their stuff isn't high in the algorithm, so nobody sees it.
Right.
So it's also setting that clear expectation that, you might post this and, nobody may comment on it. I post all the time and still, get crickets sometimes. That's totally okay. And then if they're interested in the opportunity and they get crickets, then you can say, maybe it was a bad time of day, or, let's try a different route and start with just a list of 10 friends that you're close with that we can talk to individually.
That's what I've kind of trying to been doing, is like, if we do the post and the post isn't very successful, then, it's like, do you know some people we could pop into a wellness chat, and that a way I could just, put some information out there that they will see, and maybe we can take those conversations personally.
Yeah, and I think that's a great approach. It's just, setting the clear expectation from the beginning. If they do have a great network, like letting them know, hey, this might blow up, or you might get crickets. And normalizing that, because we do all post all the time. And the majority of the time when I post, it's you guys that comment on it, not people that I want to comment on it. Not that I don't like y'all's comments, but you know what I mean.
Really got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
You guys are so quiet tonight, and everyone else is just duplication divas, queens.
I mean, I'll just kind of say, like, I feel like it's being more intentional with who you're prospecting. Obviously, you're not going to like pick the person that's going to like run to the top, because you never know who that's going to be, but you can see the people that are interactive on Facebook and present and influential and, like to put their face on Facebook. Like, those are the people that you want to comment and interact with, not the people that don't post for 6 months or change their profile for a year. Like, it's just like being intentional with getting to know people and connecting with them. And it might feel awkward to you at first. Like, you want to just connect with the same people that you have been because it's comfortable, right? But I just think that helping me to grow and duplicate has been more like, okay, like, these are the people that I'm drawn to for this reason. Like, we connect in this way. We are similar in this way. Like, you're more likely to teach them your ways or speak to them if you have similarities. So I think that if you guys feel like you're struggling with, I don't even know like how to get a person, I sure as heck can't like grow it people to do this. Like, you just have to know who who you connect with. Know your niche, and just get a little uncomfortable at first. And it doesn't mean like being weird, but just putting yourself out there and, like I said, talking about the business. Because I've learned that if you talk about the products all the time, you're going to have a team full of product users and pink drink secret sippers instead of people that are ready to create change and influence people and make money, which is obviously what we want, right? Because that's going to help us with our goals when we have people that want to make their goals bigger too. So I think if you're struggling with that, it's more like putting names on paper and starting to build those connections. And then it'll, of course, come with all of that.
Yeah, well, what's that saying? Like, when you're talking to everybody, you're talking to no one. Like, you really have to narrow it down to, like, who is it that you want on your team? Like, what does that ideal person look like? Like, what characteristics do they have?
Act like,
and yeah, what job do they have? Do they have kids? Are they a single mama? Are they a teacher? Are they a nurse? What did, like, down to, their daily life? Do they have kids in sports? Who is your ideal person? And most of the time, like, people come with a busy excuse, but people that are busy are the ones that get things done. So don't look for, like, nothing against people or, life situations, but don't look for the person who sits at home on disability and, never leaves their house and never talks to anybody. you know,
Look for the
look for
busy
the
mom and
person.
five, right, and
Right,
five
because they get stuff
extracurritors
done,
with
you
a
know,
part-time
and
job.
I don't
Yeah.
want that to sound bad, like, because there are people who are on disability who go out and volunteer and are active and, you know, they just legitimately can't, you know, work for whatever reason, but you know, y'all know what I'm saying. But, you know, it really is just narrowing down who it is that you're talking to and who specifically do you want to work with.
Yes, totally agree with all of that. I think just really, like we've said before, just really nailing down your niche. And I know a couple of us are taking that Abby Kappa class that I talked about on the last call. And I truly believe, just like what Ali was saying, is like I spent so many years in my business not knowing who I was talking to. And I remember starting out being like, it's for men, it's for women, it's for elderly, it's for this, it's for that. And like, true, the products are for, anyone can take them. But I was posting like that. And it's like simple tweaks of like using like you or y'all or like those types of things. You're speaking so broad, right? But when you know who you're speaking to, and like Ali said, you know, you don't want to go after, like for me, my market is not my mom's age people, right? Like that's just it. And it's not like of course I have signed up people that are my mom's age, or my niche is also not 20-year-olds. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's okay. And of course you're going to have your scragglers or whatever that you're going to sign up and stuff like that. But it's so much easier to connect with people when you guys have something in common. Or like Emily said, a lot of the times people have a poor money mindset. Okay. And just like where I'm from, or like even my family, they have a really bad, poor money mindset. It's kind of like, I've talked about this before, you know, my dad would not be my ideal client if I was a guy, because he has a poor money mindset. Yes, he makes great money now, but he's like, yeah, you know, you just go to work, you just do what you do, and that's just how it is. And like a lot of people have that mindset of like, I mean, I'm just good with where I'm at, but they hate their job, they complain all the time, but when you don't come from money, a lot of times it's really hard to see how you can make more money than you have right now, or how life can be different, right? It's just that generational curse, right? And so it does come down to, because we are all business ladies on here, it comes down to prospecting. You don't want to prospect, like Emily said, someone who is jobless, who says they're too busy, but they don't do anything. Like when someone tells me that, like I used to prospect those people, because sometimes you feel like they're easy targets. You're like, well, why would they not want to do this? Why would they not want to run with this business? They lost their job and they've got 5 kids and their husband is I don't know, whatever. He doesn't make great money. Why would they not want to do this? But people just have that, well, I'm fine, you know, we're just used to making ends meet. So that's, you know, so you want to go for the more influential people, the people that you're like, what, they would never need this, right? Like we say this all the time. You want to go, you have something to offer people that are doctors and professionals. They don't have to be doctors, lawyers, whatever, but that's just like the the terms. But you know what I mean? Like people that are influential in your community, talk to people about that. Like most of the time, those people are spending more time away from their families, doing their job, than being with their families. You know, what are they working for? They're working for financial freedom, but that's kind of the trap with a 9-to-5, right? Or more than a 9-to-5 for most people who are super successful. They're constantly in their business all the time, not being away from their family, but they're working so hard for that money for their family. And it's like a lot of people, let me just say this, successful people don't have a problem with taking risks. When you start to talk to people that are successful, that are risk takers, you're going to see, you don't have to convince people, right? Like they see the opportunity, they see like what network marketing is, and you're not going to have to be like, please post, please post, please post. Like, you know, all you have to do is get 3 people. They're not going to say, I just don't know anybody. they're gonna be like, hey, I know this person, and this person. And that is something that has truly changed for me over the last 2 years, is like, you have to believe that you are well equipped to lead those people, right? That you have, if you feel like you're not, then you have a whole community of people that will easily help you do that. But you guys, I'm telling you, if you feel like you're like, no one wants to share, no one wants to do this business, I want you to really take a deeper look into who you are signing up. You can be choosy with who you're signing up. That's the beauty of this business. You get to pick who you work with, right? And like, I can't remember who said, it's like, you don't know who's going to be your person that's going to like catch the vision and say, let's do this. It can literally be someone that's so surprising. But also too, don't be scared to go after people and cast that vision to people who might already on the outside look super happy, super successful. You never know what someone's dealing with on the inside, right? So thank you guys so much, Emily and Jodi. That was amazing. I love all of that. Everything she said, just being super casual with the way that you, I say casual and direct, with the way that you approach people about sharing and about the business. I think a lot of the times, if you just do it like, hey, like, if you love these products, are you willing to share with 3 friends? Like, here's what you can have, right? And just leaving it at that. You don't have to be like, oh, you got to work this business. I feel like a lot of times people kind of put it on strong, but if you're just casually leading them, I would say like breadcrumbs, you're going to be casting that vision as you drop those breadcrumbs, and be intentional with those people. Like Emily said, send them a diamond dog. Sending them a diamond dog isn't weird. Like, truly, I told Jenny last night, she's not on here anymore, but I was like, you remind me so much of Emily Roberts, just how blunt she is, how direct she is. I was like, she's a diamond and super successful. Like, this is who you remind me of. Told her to go follow her on Instagram. And guys, I'm telling you, like, that's how someone goes and looks at this person who's successful, and they're like, wow, she sees me, like, she thinks I could be like her. Like, that is very inspiring to someone, right? And so just never forget that those little things, like we said, like, sometimes we focus so much on, yes, the follow-up is super important, but sometimes we forget those little personalized touches to our ambassadors that could really help them see what this opportunity is all about. So thank you guys so much. I love this call. And I will post this in Hope Dealers as well. So thank you guys so much for taking time out of your Wednesday. Don't forget about our call tomorrow at 8:30. It will be on this Zoom number. So if you had anyone join from any of the previous Zooms, tell them, say, hey, listen, like, jump on. Who can you think of one friend who can come on Thursday? Like, let's do this. Like, you'll get a $10 Amazon gift card. If that person gets started, they'll also get their membership waived. Like, it's so fun. And the work with me's, yes, you guys, let's talk briefly about the work with me's. Save that calendar that we provide. Pick the date, pick the times that work for you, and jump on them. We are providing these times for you guys, so you guys can get on and work and have designated times, because one of the reasons why we are doing these is because we heard so often, we don't have any time to work. I feel like I'm not getting anything done. I can't carve out an hour. And you cannot tell me that there is not a time during these 6 days that we have provided. I mean, we have from 6 a.m. to 8:30 to noon to 1:30 to 2:45 to 8:45. I know it is a transition if you stay home or you don't work during the day or whatever, to get on during the day, but it's discipline and getting on and picking that time and saying, I'm doing this, and not running to Target, not washing your dishes, not folding your clothes, not making the bed, not doing whatever it is, and getting on that time. I know that maybe you're thinking, why would I get on these if I've already done 30 minutes on my IPA earlier this morning? You guys, there's something about having that community, being on, because you might be missing something. that person who is leading is providing, or a conversation. I always say, if you've heard a training once and you hear it again, listen with new ears, because you never know what you're going to pick up. And I can't tell you how true that is. So don't think you know it all. Don't think, and that was my problem. I thought I knew it all. And don't think that, well, I've already got it done, I don't need to get on there. Like if you're free at not 2 a.m. we'd have a problem. But if you're free at 2 p.m., get on, get extra work done. Like if you're ready to run, girlfriend, you can always use an extra 30 to 45 to an hour of IPA time with other people who are doing the thing. So we just really encourage you. We will remind you guys, I know this is really new, but also too, we are not babysitters. So we want you guys to get on, pick your times, set your alarm, and hop on with us. So you can go in the Game Changers chat. I believe it's posted in Rise Up Village. I'm happy to do it again. Just save the graphic, save your times, reminder, hop on with us. Okay. Bye, you guys.